So I'm doing the very unthinkable, something that I don't think most people would be willing to do. And of course, the title and thumbnail of this video, I am defending Geoff from Total Drama, more specifically, Total Drama Action. Hey guys, X Lizandria X, and welcome back to the channel. I'm just gonna cut the jibber jabber and we're gonna get straight into the video. Total Drama Action was the follow-up from Total Drama Island. And Geoff had a lot of different characteristics. His character definitely changed from season 1 to season 2. And I wanted to deep dive just a little bit, but also defend him in the same process. So with Geoff in season 2, so of course him and Bridget got booted off in the elimination episode when it was a double elimination. Geoff and Bridget were going to be hosting the Total Drama Aftermath episodes. So episode 6, 12, 18, and then 24. Geoff became a host. Now we know that during the time of Total Drama Action, more so specifically with Geoff being the host over the Aftermath episodes, he kind of became very mean and very snarky, saying things to Bridget, saying things that were just way out of pocket, having actions way out of water and just way out of water for his character. And it was just very unlike Geoff. I know that a lot of people say that Geoff really just became very distasteful. They just didn't like Geoff anymore. But I'm here to actually defend him. And I touched on it a little bit in my Total Drama Action video and how I talked about how Total Drama was a season that fell flat. Make sure y'all go check that video out. But I still wanted to touch just a little more basis on it here, that I feel like the reason why Geoff was acting like that, because he was under pressure from the producers. He was under pressure under production. They probably told Geoff that he has to sell himself, be a little bit more mean, because mind you, these two weren't necessarily on the reality show anymore, because Total Drama Action was the reality show while Total Drama Aftermath was a recap of the reality show. So in technicality, the producers had more of a hand in Geoff and Bridget as opposed to them in the actual show. And with Geoff, here's the thing. Geoff was a 16, 17-year-old kid, because we know in Total Drama Island, they're all 16 years old. They were at the summer camp for 2 months, because 8 weeks. So, and then of course 2 days in between Total Drama Island and Action. So he was still probably about 16, maybe freshly turned 17. We don't really know how old Geoff is, but he's still a minor. And Geoff was under a lot of pressure from the producers to become this facade that he didn't really want to be. And this kind of just reminds me about how teenagers in Hollywood are, even though they were in Canada, but you know, teenagers in the public eye. And I say that because nobody was there to actually protect Geoff in the situation at all. He didn't know any better. In true, we can say that he had a mind of his own, or he should have had a mind of his own. But at the same time, he was all alone in this, because none of the kids' parents, except for DJ's mom, was there throughout the time. These 16, 17-year-old kids were really just trying to figure out this show on their own, with the producers, the adults in their lives, honestly using them as opposed to helping them to boost ratings for the show. And that's why I'm defending Geoff, because Geoff didn't know any better. This was the first time that all of them have ever been on a reality show. Yes, they did Total Drama Island in the previous year, but remember, they have only been on television, don't really even know what the world is really saying about them, because they were only off show for 2 days. So it really was like they've only been in this reality TV public eye space for about 2.5 months. And this, I could tell this was probably weighing on Geoff, and he even said that he really just wasn't feeling like himself, and he didn't like being the person that he was becoming, but because of the producers and they wanted high ratings and better ratings, this is why he was acting like this. And honestly, it just makes me feel bad, and it honestly just makes me think about other kids in Hollywood, that these kids can be used as publicity stunts if they don't have proper adults around them or people who are actually there to look out for them. it can really just take a turn for the worse where they could get into other stuff. Geoff just turned into a mean person, but if we taking it into real life outside of the animated series, it can get really detrimental, not just being mean or stuck up and leaving your your kind personality for a different persona, but even getting into toxic things like drugs, anything within that realm of dealing with the public eye. And I know these teens, all of them, not just Geoff, had a really hard time being on TV, especially if we're going to take a look at the manhunt episode at the end of Action. Them being in the public eye didn't really end up good for really any of them. But I think Geoff was one of the people who actually did take more of a harder hit. And it wasn't up until we got to Redonkulous Race where Geoff just really went back to his old self. But the one thing I can say about him being in Redonkulous Race is that he just kind of ended up being a little more dumber because here's the thing, Geoff was never dumb. I don't know where that whole Geoff being dumb came about, or like kind of missing the dots. Don't really know where that came from. But I think if we look back, it's kind of just a process of Geoff no longer being on television. Because remember, after season 3, you had season 4, 5, and 6, or 5A, 5B. I just say 5 and 6. But he had a couple of years to kind of get his thoughts together, regroup, go back home, and serve for a party or do whatever he needed to do. Go back to his once normal life. Wanted to defend Geoff a little bit in this video today, because I know people probably have turned their backs on Geoff, but I'm actually defending him because he didn't have proper people behind him. He was, basically used by the people who were actually supposed to be looking out for him, apparently. Thank y'all for watching this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, especially subscribe, and I hope to see y'all next time. Bye.